What if I told you that holidays contribute to more illness in the United States and all around the world than any human construct? Let me explain. A human construct is an idea, event, holiday, or circumstance where we as humans assign a set of behaviors. For example, Christmas, we have Christmas trees, gifts, alcohol, there are parties. For Thanksgiving, we feast, we watch football here in America. New Year's, people celebrate, they toast. Some even cry at the turn of the year. These are all human constructs that we have created. Today we're going to be speaking about how these human constructs sometimes get us in so much trouble because we assign all of these toxic behaviors, and I want to show you how to overcome that so you're not caught in this trap and you can enjoy your holidays without being self-conscious. All right, let's jump right into it. So I want to start off with a story. I have an uncle and he is a musician, and he's a very talented musician. When I say talented, I mean he is considered one of the 5 top guitar players in South America. He's an older guy and he's always lived in Colombia. He's been part of that culture all his life. And that culture is a big party culture, especially around Christmas and special events. People drink a ton of alcohol. He is not a person of faith, and he tries to do his best and tries to be as moral and do things in a way where he's honoring his family, but this particular area of his life is unchecked or was unchecked. And so he married Martha. Martha is a psychologist. And I heard Martha say something one day that blew me away. It planted a seed for myself, and it just blew me away how she actually said what she said in regards to alcohol. And she said to Chael one day, she was really upset at him because he had been drinking and he did something at one of the parties that he was at. And she said, you know, Chael, you assign all of these behaviors to these holidays. Don't you think that now that we're married, we should probably have different behaviors that lead to different situations in our life? And as basic as that was, she said, you assign certain toxic behaviors to certain holidays because that's the only way you know how to celebrate. Have you considered that there are other ways to celebrate that honor your family? And he kind of looked at her and he was a little upset. I was there in the room, I heard it from far away, and I was like, okay. It just hit me in a way, right? And I started to think about the human constructs and the things that we create. For example, there's this whole idea that if you are, you're going to high school, you should graduate and go to college. And once you graduate college, you should get a nice paying job. From there, you should meet someone, you should get married, you should get a dog, move to the suburbs, and have kids and die. Right? Like that is kind of the process. I know that sounds sort of morbid and pessimistic, but I'm saying this is a human construct. This is what most people have been taught to do all of their lives, not understanding that you can do things in a different way. Now, I am a proponent for marriage. I'm a proponent for kids. I'm a man of faith. I think that we're here to multiply. But my point here is that we assign all these things and we take this with a grain of salt. We think that these are the ways that I have to react when Thanksgiving, when Christmas, when all these holidays come around. And oftentimes these things go unexamined and we just do them automatically. And a lot of those things are toxic things. So we're right around the time of Thanksgiving, Christmas, and a lot of the people in our program are starting to get a little worried because they're thinking to themselves, oh, here come the holidays. I'm gonna get off. I'm gonna eat all these things. I've been working so hard for the past couple of months inside of this program. I've lost 15, 20, 30 pounds. Here come the holidays. JT, what do I do? So if you're asking yourself that question, and even if you see this video after Thanksgiving and Christmas, I'm here to say that this applies to any particular holiday situation that you think may throw you off. Okay, so the first thing I want to say is that I want to talk about the philosophy of this, right? And I want to say that oftentimes, especially within Christian circles, what we hear people say is, well, my identity is anchored in Christ. But when you really ask people what that means, most people can't really put a finger on that. They can't tangibly tell you this is what this means. And I think that is a systematic challenge within Christianity because people have these very reactive sort of cliche sayings that they really don't understand fully. So when I say I am going to have the mind of Christ, I'm going to apply these principles into my life, I have to follow that faith, that desire, with some practical things that I can do. So I want to give you some practical things that you can do here. Number one, I would say that The fastest way to change behavior is to change your identity. In other words, behavior changes identity. You are an accumulation of the things that you do every day, whether those things are good or bad. Take inventory of your life. If something positive is going on in your life, there is an accumulation of good habits that are happening consistently, and the opposite is also true of that. So let's say you have this tendency to go into the holidays and eat whatever you want, enjoy, be just jolly with your family and take advantage of every single dessert and everything that comes on the table. Then, the next day you're feeling self-conscious and you're feeling horrible about yourself. If that's you and you want to stop that, here's what I would say. Number one, I think that before the holidays actually start, before the party or wherever you're going, where you know people are going to indulge, my number one tip for you is don't show up on an empty stomach. Have a protein shake or have a nice meal that has sufficient protein, 8 to 10 ounces of protein. Make sure you get something like a half a medium avocado. These healthy fats keep you very satiated before you go into the temptation. So what I'm saying here is don't go into the temptation on an empty stomach because you will fail. Or if you don't want to eat a full meal, you can have a protein shake and add, some Udo's oil, UDOS oil. You can get that at the vitamin shop. You can get it on Amazon. It's omegas 3, 6, and 9. You do 1 or 2 tablespoons inside of your shake. That's gonna give you energy. That's gonna keep you satiated. And you're gonna go into this particular situation that generally was tempting and where you would have a ton of mishaps. And you're going to be able to self-regulate because you're not starving. So that's the number one thing I would say. Number two, I would say that prior to getting there, make sure that you have a nice power walk of 45, 60 minutes, or maybe a workout in where you're burning 500 calories. I wouldn't go beyond the 500 calories because then that can make you overly hungry and that can also make you fall. So you get a workout in. Why the workout? Why the power walk? Well, when you exercise, and you put effort into your exercise, your cardio, and you do that for 45, 60 minutes, what happens after that is you become very, very cognizant of the things that you eat and the things that you do after, because you just spent a whole lot of time doing this thing that costs effort and you sweat, and it was you getting out of your comfort zone. So I would say that you're just a little bit more aware of your surroundings and you want to make better decisions because you don't want to throw away the 45, 60 minutes that you just did. So I think those things are important. Now, when you get to the festivities and you see the banquet, and you say, well, all this great food and there's nothing for me to eat, I would say that on your first go, have the protein first. Eat the protein first because protein is very satiating. Second time around, you're going to proactively think about the sides that are generally the starches or the sugary or the fatty things that are there. And you have proactively said, I'm going to do these things because I want to enjoy myself. I don't want to be completely restricted. I don't want to be the weird person at the party drinking diet water while everyone else is having a good time. If this is what you want to do and you proactively say, my second time around after I eat my protein, I'm going to go and indulge in some of the starches. Do that one time and try to minimize the amount of starches and fats and sugary things that you put on your plate. Enjoy it, be okay with it, walk away from there, and then that's it, Don't go back for thirds and fourths, and because that'll get you in trouble. Understand that when you have these big insulin spikes, it takes about 3 days for you to go into homeostasis, meaning for your insulin levels to balance out again and for you to not have a ton of cravings and feel crazy and out of control. So for the next 3 days, you're gonna be a little hungry, you're gonna be craving some bad carbs or ice cream or things of that nature because you just spiked insulin. And with that insulin spike comes a dopamine spike, which basically dopamine is a neuroreceptor associated with well-being, and your body's just wanting more of that well-being, quote unquote well-being. Okay, so expect those 3 days before you get back into homeostasis. Be okay with it. Don't punish yourself. Don't, go back and try to do a ton of cardio or a bunch of crazy workouts to make up for the food you had, because you're sending your brain the wrong message. Your brain has something called a guard dog. And if you do anything extreme that the brain doesn't like, what happens is your subconscious mind will fight you so that you can get back on, if you're trying to get back on track. So if you're trying to get back on track, your brain is going to fight. So don't do anything extreme that will alert the guard dog of your brain. If you can do these things systematically, just the way I explained, then you're gonna enjoy the holidays, you're going to be able to enjoy your family, and you're not gonna feel restricted. And then once everything is over, you just go back to your normal routine and you stay on the plan for the next 10, 15 days, and then you incorporate a little cheat meal here, or 1 or 2 cheat meals, depending on if you've hit your goal or not. So this is how you super hack the holidays. I hope you've enjoyed this podcast episode. This one is a little different, but because we're coming into the holidays, I wanted to give you some tools and resources so that you can enjoy your food, but still have a good time and be able to enjoy it with your family members. My name is JT Tapias with An Idol Called Food. I'll talk to you guys soon. Ciao, ciao.